All right guys, welcome to another video. This time we're going to focus on our Audi A4 Avant Ultra Sport Pack. This is a car my wife and I have owned since 2005. We've got about 82,000 miles on this car and they've been great. The car has been fantastic all of these years and we really love it. But we had to do a couple of maintenance things, so that's what this video is all about. We're going to go through those maintenance items and give you an update. The first thing we did, there was a loud whooshing noise coming from the engine. It made the car sound like a loud diesel. And this is a inline 4-cylinder turbocharged 1.8 liter engine. So having that loud whooshing sound crop up on us, we had to get that addressed. We also had a recurring check engine light on, so we solved that. As well as we got new tires for the car. And I'll walk you through why we picked the tires that we picked. So with that, let's dive on in. All right, so what was this crazy loud engine noise that made this little gas engine sound like a big giant diesel? I mean, it was like this big whooshing, vacuuming sound. And actually it was the AC compressor was going bad, and there was also a faulty bearing for one of the pulleys. So the AC compressor had to be replaced. In addition, they had to put new refrigerant in and all of that. So it came to a grand total of $1,585 for this repair. Of that was about $570 in labor, and the rest of that was parts and taxes. So that was a big repair. Boom, big one. The second thing that needed to be fixed was a reoccurring check engine light, and it would just come on intermittently. We did take it to the Audi dealership before for service and had them look at it, and they guessed that it was when you fill up with gas, maybe somehow undoing the gas cap, filling it up would let some air in that would mess with the sensor, and it was nothing to worry about. So we went on like that for a while, but now we needed to pass vehicle emissions inspection, and we couldn't do that with this check engine light on. The service guys at Audi figured out what the problem was and fixed it. It turned out it was a faulty coolant temperature sensor. So they had to replace this sensor as well as drain the coolant and replace the coolant. So that came up to a total of $393. Most of that was labor. $319 of it was labor. The parts were only about $64. All right guys, so we replaced our summer tires. The summer tires had worn out. They were, we purchased them, I think when we were back in California and we moved here to New York. They were the Continental Sport Contact 3s. And then we moved here to New York, and of course we needed winter tires during the winter because obviously the Sport Contact 3s were not great in the snow. So we got Bridgestone Blizzaks for the winter time, and they have performed great. And one thing that my wife says is that she prefers driving with the winter tires on, probably because they have a softer compound, and I would imagine a softer sidewall as well, even though they're at the exact same size as the summer tires. And also, the summer tires were getting old. The Sport Contact 3s were just wearing out. They were worn out, and as the tires wear, the ride gets rougher and rougher. And the Sport Contact 3s had a really stiff sidewall anyway, and it became uncomfortable for my wife to drive the car. So we decided to replace those high performance summer tires with all-season tires. And the main reason is because, again, my wife is the primary driver of this car. She should be comfortable. She's not autocrossing this car. She's not driving like a wild person. So having Sport Contact 3s, or whatever they're up to now, I guess they're Sport Contact 6s now, doesn't make any sense. So we got all-season tires. We stayed with the Continental family. So what did we end up getting? We ended up buying the Extreme Contact DWS 06 tires from Continental. And these are considered ultra high performance all season tires. So they're not on the highest level like the Sport Contact 6s, but these are still considered ultra high performance tires. It's just that they're all season tires. What does the DWS stand for? That stands for dry, wet, and snow purpose. And if you notice, the tire tread has the DWS engraved in the tread, and that gives you tread wear. So what will wear off first will be the S, which is for snow. Then the W will wear off, and once you wear off the W and the S off that tread, then that tells you that you really have lower traction in the wet and obviously not great traction in the snow. And it takes the longest to wear out the D. I did a little bit of research on these tires, and Tire Rack did an analysis and compared this tire with some others from Michelin and Pirelli. And they acknowledged that for high performance all-season tires, these Extreme Contacts were the most compliant, gave you the most comfortable ride compared to other ultra high performance all-season tires from the other manufacturers. So again, this is right up our alley, exactly what we wanted, exactly what my wife needed to smooth out the ride for her. Tires, and I'm driving on them now, and I have to say the ride is way more compliant, a lot smoother than with the Sport Contact tires. I've not done any super aggressive driving, but the tires seem to handle pretty well. The ride is extremely smooth now. Not a lot of road noise entering into the cabin from these tires. And in fact, my wife's opinion is she loves them. You know, she loves the way that they feel and the ride that it gives her. Now again, bear in mind that the roads here in New York are not as smooth as the roads out in California. So having some compliant behavior in the tires and in the suspension is actually a good thing for 90% of the use of this car. We shopped around. We first spoke with Audi since the service manager there, we knew him, and he was giving us a recommendation on what he's got good experience with. And again, he recommended these Continental Extreme Contact tires. And I'm glad we followed his recommendation. And we had the work done not at the Audi dealership, because the Audi dealership wanted to charge an incredible amount of money just to switch the tires over. So we went over to Mavis, and they did a much better deal. The total cost turned out to be $669 for the complete service. 4 tires, all installed, balanced, torqued. And that seemed much more reasonable than what Audi was going to charge. And I'm not being paid by Mavis. I'm not getting any kickback or anything. I just wanted a better deal than what Audi was giving me. So yeah, so far with 55 miles in, these tires seem to be the right choice. And yet they don't feel squishy. They seem to perform very well in the turns. I'm very happy with how they're performing so far. We'll see when we put more miles on it if I still feel the same way. But so far we're real happy with these all-season tires. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. We continue to enjoy this car. Again, we are the original owners. We've had it since 2005 and we continue to enjoy it. It really is a solid vehicle. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more content, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Safe driving, everybody.